evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to each one of you. And we have our guest of honor, Ms. Manju Pillai. Introduction will be made by Manisha. She's my colleague. And special guest we have today is Ms. Preeti Edapudi. I hope I got it right.
Thank you.
Okay, we had a very wonderful show with Anuradha's paintings. A lot of good feedback we got. And a lot of artists came. A lot of students came, and she was very patient and she explained everything. The whole show is about, it's called Name, Place, Animal Thing. As an introduction, today we thought of having a poetry reading session to show another facet of Anuradha's journey as a poetess. She'll be reading two poems, Alice Out of Wonderland, which is explaining of a word which gets caught in our head. The second is the alphabet of trust, and that is the formation of the word by itself. After Anuradha's poetry session, we'll have a young poet who's come down specially for this from Chennai. We call him Dev. His full name is Devanshu,
yes,
right?
Yes.
We have a small gift for you from the management.
Miss Manjushri Khaitan. It's a pleasure to represent her and to hand over this special book. Please do.
Thank you.
It's called Mrityunjaya.
Oh, thank you.
This is a special gift from Miss Manjushri Khaitan.
Thank you.
Good evening. So wonderful to see all of you. So glad that you all came. We have some very accomplished people here. We would love to listen to you all. And I would just like to say, Shirley has already introduced the show to you. I would just like to say about my experience of the game. I would like to talk about the game which has influenced me. So here in this there is a game that my sister and myself used to play as children. We grew up in Munnar, in the hills of Munnar, so we had mountains and elephants and rhododendrons and the kurinji, the winds, the rains, all the elements there covering us, the mist, wow. Tea bushes, the smell of the tea bushes, eucalyptus, all this surrounded us forever. And so we would be sitting, sometimes we would sit in a room and we would be studying physics or mathematics. We were trying to figure out how to calculate the number of shares, or how is the hypotenuse and the right angle. What is it? I don't remember. The triangles and the right angles, and A plus C is equal to C plus B, and AC is. Please prove how AC plus BC can become BCD. Something like that. So it just went totally above my head. So we would be sitting and doing this, and suddenly my sister would come and say, out. You have to touch the other person and say out. When you say out, it means then you have to leave what you're doing and run after each other. And then we would go into the lawn and we would be laughing and playing. And that's the end of the share and the share market and the share stories and hypotenuses. We were completely beyond all that. So what I would like to say, I see the connection of how a word comes. I did go through a patch of air, no words, no creative activity. And when a word comes in the middle of the night, it touches you and it goes very fast. It says, come, now follow me. And you're like sleeping, you are doing other things. It comes sometimes in the afternoon. Whenever it comes, if you don't grab it, it will go. The fun is gone, the joy is gone. So I say, grab it whenever it comes. These are my experiences and what I have learned. Another game is Name Place Animal thing, which is the title of this show. And it is very clear to me that games are not just games. It is better to wear a tight corset of a game rather than any other, very serious. We become very serious when we indulge in our work. So, better to wear these tight corsets of games because they keep you grounded. That is where it has to start from that joyful space. Creativity also comes from there. So, be in touch with that space always. The first poem, I would like to say that it is about the formation of the word. I've tried to explore a bit of the word, and it is about the formation, and it's called the alphabet of trust, or maybe the elephant of trust. And the second is more about Alice out of Wonderland, where you are bound by the words. Here, the word is just coming in, freed from the word. I have, and this following the word, I also came across the Ganapati Upanishad, in which the Atharva Veda, it talks about how the word is, Ganapati himself is the word. The speech, the 4 stages of speech is what Ganapati represents. The 4 stages of speech is what Ganapati represents. And it is called Para, Pashyanti, Madhyamam and Vaikari. And this is how speech starts. So we are aware of Vaikari because it's what comes out of my mouth right now. Madhyamam is when it's in your head, it's in a mental stage, you might be just playing around with those words in your head. And Pashyanti means, the word itself means seeing, to see, to be able to see. And a rishi or a seer is somebody who can see. And there were people who could see a mantra, and then para is beyond all this, from where it comes, the source of it. So, the seer is what we would like to discover. We would like to be in that space of the seer where you can actually see. Now, these are things that you have to explore within yourself and understand. You might not even be able to express it. It is just a space that you experience. Do words have color? Do you see it? These are things that each one experiences within themselves.
But that's what we want to touch. And the joy that you feel, it is very, very clear. The joy that you feel is that beautiful kiss into the hypnotic swing of a new word. Even as the drum of a faraway vehicle still plumbs the ramparts of an expired word. A stray cough wanders into the purple night. My cat's ears perk, negotiating the electric buzz. A mobile phone vibrates to a bitter tweet. As I lie in bed, barren land, incomplete sentence, a leftover wound curling into my arms, an invisible clasp securing spilt hair. And so what? Somehow, here I am. And so what? Somehow, here I am, biting into the cream of a delightful dream. Joy, smiling, spilling through my teeth. Some cool katinas have spotted me. Some loam, clay, some sand. Wild fruits, roots, rhododendrons watching me. And mountain goats swimming in my eyes.
To each other for
For many, many years.
since 2004 on Cell, and we go back and forth on Cell, and at that time I remember feeling that it's not, I was in Chennai then. I know it's not just my brain that has memory. I think every cell of my body has information, has memory, and just so after 2010-11 I started reading about it, that now Western so-called allopathic, the cell records, but we felt it. So that means our minds, each and every one of us, humans, plants, animals, all of us know inside that we have information, right? So So anyway, so this poem, it's a small little, and then I'll speak on Chomsky, and I've also discovered someone called Saul Krippe. He passed away recently. Also, he's written on Word. So the first thing is it's a tiny little poem. Those wriggly, jiggly things that clip-chap their way out of my aching fingers. I find it very difficult to write. So those slithery eels, in a blink, melt away into confused waters. Those fireflies fading, even as I turn, look, that creature crouching, lurking beyond the corner of my gaze, crawling your way through consciousness, the tips of my fingers frozen as I seek to touch, my tongue, my thought, seeking your shadowy form. Ah, word, you and I meet now. We merge. We are one. You and I, word. Thank you. And it means, I know the theory is there. It means it's a combination of sounds, and it means a concept or a thing in us, hidden in us, outside. But essentially, it's a combination of sounds. It's a word. Universally, all over, it's a combination of sounds. And the sounds put together symbolize a word or symbolize an object, a physical object or something materially, but at the same time, it then becomes reality. There was this researcher, Elinor Ostrom, who's passed away recently, and she wrote about institutions, how institutions, which is marriage, buildings, societies, are essentially created by norms and cultures, which makes it a reality. So reality is created by how we live. In fact, because a lot of us are Malayalis, we know my grandma didn't wear clothes. Even the clothes we wear is a narration that we must wear clothes, because you don't really need clothes in a tropical country. I mean, clothes are worn by people living in deserts or in colder temperate zones. So essentially, clothes are not designed, the human body is not designed to wear clothes. Otherwise, you would have fur, right? You only have skin. So words create the structure. But then I grew up in the north, and I remember, if we see naked children, oh, they're naked. It's such a shame to be naked, because you're trained. Words frame your understanding that if you don't wear clothes, oh, that's shameful. Right? So, but then traveling all over, so it depends on shame. Where in certain cultures, your waist is shown, that's shameful. Legs are shown. words construct the meaning around these. Words are powerful. Words create frameworks. So words could free you at the same time. It becomes a prison. Words can also make a prison out of. So words are very, very important. But Chomsky, born in 1928, I'll just move on. That's just my understanding of a word. And the Bible too says in the beginning there was the word.
God. The word. You have to spread the word. That's what
So the word,
the disciples had to do.
starts, first there was the word.
First.
Was the word.
Yeah.
Word was with God, and word was God. The Gospel of John.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Adi Vajanamundai.
Adi?
Vachanam.
Adi
Vajanamundai.
Vajanamundai. Vajanam is a word.
So
First came the word.
So before Vachanam word, that means it was a wordless place. Born in 1928, reason why? Because when he started, he literally created the area of linguistics. Linguistics has now led to today's neuroscience, today's biological experiments where cells are, people are seeking to replicate cells. You have 3D printers, you have human ears being created, you have attempts at literally, in a way it's a path to extinction, you could say, or maybe not. Replicate plants, replicate tissue, but it started a lot with also semantics, linguistics, and evolution theory, which is again comes back to word. So Chomsky believed that the human mind is designed to learn and to speak. So it's biological. To language is biological. Still then language was an acquired skill, but language is biological. That's Chomsky's. He says to have command of a language is to be able in principle to understand what is said and to produce a signal with an intent to semantic interpretation. Semantic, which is meaning, meaning of a sentence, meaning of a phrase, meaning of a word. So he initiated, and this was from an essay, a collection of essays, Langos. I just wanted to say this, like word, for example, husband, wife. A husband means someone. The word husband itself means someone who manages a resource. The wife is considered something as a resource. You know, the individuality is taken away. Same in Kannada, Yajamani, master, right? But then you have the earlier version, which is Ganda, your man. In Malayalam too, Bhartava means the one who Bharikena. Bharya is the one who is Bharikippadunavan. The one who ruled over.
Now it's the turn round.
But then, no, the earlier version, where is your man? It's not Bhartava. Bhartava came later when marriages started. So words, how they capture. So same way now the biological framing of language is now encouraged patents, software, into patenting lives, patenting language. So, I mean, we all know heard about cell lines being patented. As early as 70s, someone from Papua New Guinea's blood cell line was patented by the US government. And then we read about a HALA cell, in the US. So now many other things have been patented, but it started from Noam Chomsky's linguistic, a lot of it. So, so where we are going with this, another, again a Nobel laureate, Francois Jacob says, role of language. Its role in symbolizing, in evoking cognitive images, in molding our notion of reality, and yielding our capacity for thought and planning through its unique property of allowing infinite combinations of symbols and therefore mental creation of possible words. What a word does. We create words that may not exist and that exist. Thank you.
So it's called, I've just titled it Grief. Grief is a bird with clipped wings. Its eyes of fire singes each thing it sees. It caresses the heart with the faintest flame, but guts it to ashes. Afraid of its touch, the memory of its sting, in anticipated terror, we cringe. But grief is also a green-grey pond, brooding deep within, watching us unravel with its membranous eyes, watching us shred the petals of ourselves as dead birds do their wings. Grief does not swallow us whole, but bit by bit, savoring every screaming nerve and sinew, decimating our very core, until, whittled to thin air, we are emptied whole, as if we were never really there. Oh my God. After that, you'd wonder why did it. So this was about our home in Kerala. So I had written about a series of poems. This is one of them. And it's about the home that actually went away. I mean, we couldn't hold on to our ancestral home, and so it's memories really. So it's called Home Turf. This is an alien land now. The ducks no longer recognize me. Gliding over the river's edge, pink water lilies flutter and choke amidst water hyacinth, plastic, and foam. This land that birthed me in an ancient home, red tiled roof and cool black floors, ancestors waiting to hold, is spun from stories I was told. That was half a century ago. Now I stand alone outside the burnished courtyard, watching the waters come, the soft edge of sky. This home no longer rushes to open its iron gates. No grandparents frailly guard the doors. I'm a tourist skimming the air as generations of palm trees have changed hands. The earth has molted over and over again. I'm just a memory as thin as membrane. So that's about. I don't know why Anu reminded me of you.
So this is my book. In the meantime, if you guys are interested in my poetry, please check me out on Amazon. It's called Interlude, and all the proceeds that I make from this book will go to a NGO that sort of helps educate orphan kids. So I just donate all the money there because I'm anyways making a lot from my day job. So
That's the most interesting part you have said.
yeah, so I make
Somebody's making a lot in it.
So exactly. So I don't.
Because for youngsters, probably, so that's not enough. For how much?
Yeah, that's why you say you're making a lot.
Yeah, so this is just
satisfying.
so that people can read what I'm writing about, and then in the same time, an orphan can sort of educate.
Because we don't hear the Ambanis ever saying that we're making a lot. So
No,
somebody has to say
I'm
that.
happy with what I'm doing in the day job. So this is the first piece. It's called Climb. Here goes. Smothered by the winds, taken by the snow. I'm smaller over time, but I don't blame the climb. There's moss on the rocks, shaken by the snow. Trees are taller over time, and I can't blame the climb. I slowly tread above. Knees are swollen with the pain. They are healing over time, and I don't blame the climb. But when I make it to the top, there is nothing but the fall. I might get dizzy over time, yet I don't blame the climb. And so I walk my way back. At the bottom of the hill, I build a cottage over time because I don't want the climb. Now I watch the poor folks from the comfort of my home. They grow smaller over time, and they all blame the climb. They try to forge ahead, kicking, stabbing some behind. They grow bitter over time, yet they all blame the climb. Yet they all blame the climb. Yet they all blame the climb.
Pakka capitalist.
So young and so wise.
So how old are you?
25.
Look at that.
My
Amazing.
son's age.
And I was telling her this new story about she's never seen a nest in the trees. She knows what a bird is, of course. So I was telling her that the birds go, they build a nest in the trees, in a nook in the tree, and then they go and sleep there, trying to get her to sleep basically. But after telling her the story for a couple of days, she asked me, so the birds have gone to the nook, and then I was like, yeah, where's the nook? And she pointed to the hole in my nose, and that was this word that she made up. And to her, this sounded like a nook.
No,
So yeah, it does.
Okay.
But it was so interesting that
The
young
child
girl
understood far better than an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she when she told me, I was so overwhelmed that it was this girl who's coming up for the first time, hasn't seen me, but she stood there and explained the whole thing what I had in mind.
Transcendental.
Yeah.
So about Noam Chomsky, I don't remember him as a linguist, but a little more as a political critic. He says,
That's now later.
yeah, how is it that we have so much information and yet we know so little? That's one of his famous quotes. And then something else that he said, that the general public knows so little and they don't even know that they know so little.
Correct. Language is continuously being created.
Yeah.
So that's very fascinating. So, yeah, you cannot repeat what you have said.
So suddenly it changed the whole scenario for everybody. I think the way we were looking at life, also the way we were looking what's art, also it was questionable, and also everything what was happening around also it was like quite strange actually. I think that 2 months is like unexplainable. So that was the time I started like just wanted to like forget like whatever I was doing and then start looking at the world around. So then during my walks I started documenting only ants, like how ants sort of just go mourn, grief. There are a lot of things which you when you keep observing. So especially like if there is rain, you see all these ants like the way you watch them. The next day you won't find them in the same spot, but within 3 hours you'll see the same activity begins there. So that's what like suddenly gave me a lot of hope also.
It's what a privilege to be alive and to be with all of you. So yeah.
One is petrichor. That is the petrichor.
Yeah,
The smell of rain on dry earth. Okay. I love that word.
We had a show of that.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. I love that word because I love the smell of rain. And the other word that I really have come to love is this Welsh word called hireth. It means a homesickness for a home to which you cannot return. A home which maybe never was. The nostalgia, the yearning, the grief for the lost places of your past. And I think I live my life a lot like that. And there's always a certain melancholy that is always there in my life. And not that I bring it on, but it's most people know me as this, slightly sadder person than I am, because that's how I come across. All my joys and I love doing things, but somewhere there's always this hook of don't get too happy with yourself kind of feeling. So this is the word that I loved, and this is the word that I wanted to bring. And when I was listening to her and listening to your poetry and the symbol of Ka that you had, and the symbolic representation of Hireth is very similar to the Ka.
I think it's important for us to believe that there is some obstacle. There is. And how well we can bypass the obstacle or ignore it. And it's easier said than done. And the feeling I got from this gathering is that I think most of you, if not all of you, are some kind of thinkers, not in the sense that you just do this and then you get some mantra and all, but you're serious about what you have seen, you're serious about what's happening.
See the grains of the paper. The grains of the paper. So it becomes very solid.
Very layered.
You are merging with the paper.
Yes. So we made it to black and white. Initially,
In fact, that
you could
texture
see the
was
Yeah.
that was
not the idea was for you
Actually, that
still
the
yourself.
last bit where you just the black and white and the word. I think from there you can take it forward and then you can make your own words and That was like really worked out like that. Just that one frame.
The last one.
With
Last
your,
one,
it's
yeah.
dark and you're there, and also the word kind of becomes like an image actually.
Yeah.
The alphabet becomes a set of an image.
So this was the
You know,
idea of
so-
it coming from para. Where is this word coming from? Para Pashanti, which we were talking about. Where is this word coming from? You're just writing. You're just talking. Are you aware of the?
Yeah, and the thing is, see, generally what people do when they're trying to show a poem, it's they used soft focus and slow-mo. So that distracts you. Here, as Priti was saying, the stillness keeps you focused. So there are no distractions of light playing anything, slow-mos, and all the gimmicks.
So that you can hear those.
It's focusing there, like it's anchoring your gaze, and then automatically your senses also get anchored.
And I think even Anu is not moving, it's just her voice.
That's what I'm saying, the stillness, the movement.
Her voice is guiding you through the whole thing.
And the fact that it is her back that is showing, so you don't see her expression, so it leaves a lot more to your imagination. If you saw her face, then you would try and read what she's saying.
Yeah, you'd probably be looking at,
Because I'm going to read what is going on in your head.
In the video, so that you can focus
It
more on
stills
the
us.
words actually.
We become still.
Nice.
Watching
Yeah.
it, we become still. Huh?
Yeah.
It stills us.
Also during the
Yeah,
process.
right. Because there isn't too much of movement in the
Yeah.
Actually, the video was not part of the plan. So all these exhibitions, whatever I do, somehow it just falls into place. It's not that you have planned the whole thing, because I'm really not into video making and all that. But just don't know what to say. See, these two poems, just recently, 2 days back, when I looked back and I saw that, okay, about the word, my interest is about the word. The point is that if something excites you and if you go behind it, it opens many windows.
Very vistas.
And then, so like that, the video happened. And then, if you want something, I like the way more connections, you're seeing more connections falling into place. And just something between.
My name is Alice, out of Wonderland.
That comes because you are not planning it.
One who peeps into dark closets, bearing with eyes its dark skin, black fruit. Past danger zones, amoeba's words, breaking news, morphing fast into bedazzled eyes.
The whistle. Gear shift, wheels turn, valves pump, blood. White rabbits race against time. Up 2, 3, 4, up the systemic ladder. Policymakers and influencers lifting, shifting from valve to valve, step by step, ounce by ounce. Up 2, 3, 4. On your mark, get set, go. Up the varicose veins. Breathe in and down, down the abysmal blast of fame and shame and game and blame and shame and fame and game and blame, and breathe out. Breathe in. Out. in, out, in, words, 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 words.